Starting with the NWA World Title Program in the main event of Sacrifice 2006. Coming off the main event of Lockdown, if you remember, we recap at the start of the first impact of the pay-per-view cycle, April 27th. All the events of Lockdown where Christian retained the title against Abyss, but Abyss jumped him. Well, actually, technically, Christian jumped Abyss after the match, but Abyss got the better of him. And as Christian was trying to get revenge on Mitchell, Abyss stole the NWA World Title. So this month, Abyss is in possession of the NWA World Title.
I'd argue that James Mitchell is in possession most of the time.
Would you rather see in Full Metal Mayhem Abyss versus Christian or Mitchell versus Christian?
I don't think you want me to answer that question.
Get Abyss out of here.
Get the Sinister Minister in there.
Abyss, more like No-Biss.
Ha, Abyss, more like B-Biss.
Which was going to be the original name of Joseph Park. I think I've said that before.
Is that true?
Yeah, the original name of Joseph Park was going to be B-Biss, as in going from A to B.
B-Bus, like B-E-E space bus?
No, I think it's just B-Y-B-S-S. No,
B-B-Y-S-S?
A-B-Y, yeah. I don't know. Words. I've forgotten how to spell abyss just by putting a B in front of it.
That does change the whole dynamic, to be fair.
So at the start of that episode of Impact, Mitchell said they fulfilled their promise to take the title from Christian after stealing it at Lockdown. Mitchell says the world is yours, and then takes a heavy shot at CM Punk by calling Abyss the real world champion.
He should put a big dumb X on it.
And then disappear from the company after beating up David Young?
Cassidy Riley.
Cassidy Riley's probably it, isn't it? It's probably the meanest thing anybody said about Jungle Jack.
I don't know. Have you ever been on Twitter.com?
People don't seem to like the scapegoat. You're not wrong.
Yeah, true to name and to form.
So Abyss comes out with Mitchell at the start of the show. We actually opened the show with, for the only time in the history of the television show, Adrenaline Rush.
Adrenaline Rush.
It is the only time, which actually, does that mean I have to remix an Adrenaline Rush opening theme now for this and this alone?
I think you should just add Adrenaline Rush to the beginning of the theme.
Or maybe at the end of the theme. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what sounds
Whatever's
better.
easier.
I'm always remixing themes because I'm already like, alright, I do have to add at least one quote from this episode, or these episodes. So, Curse, you're a good idea to do a remixed intro for well, not every episode, but keep adding quotes to the intro.
Yeah, well, it's fun. I meant like more like error by error, or like when something really stood out. I didn't mean specifically each episode.
But I like it. You suggested it, and I'm like, that's cool. And I like when it's different for most of the episodes.
Well, it's no longer my problem, is it?
Yeah, you're the ideas guy, and then I have to spend time doing all this stuff.
They call me the Elon of the podcast.
Oh, you're a billionaire?
I wish. I would not distribute my wealth so hard.
Abyss and Mitchell come out. The crowd start chanting "Not World Champ" at Abyss. Mitchell says possession is 9/10 of the law, which it's not. That's not how the law works.
I think isn't that like fake law?
That is just one of those things people who like to steal things say. It's not true. And then if anybody wants to take the belt from Abyss, then they can, which introduces Rhino, and then we have our opening contest on Impact.
For the Real World Championship.
It's a non-title match, so Abyss is a liar, but...
Well, it could have been a Real World title match.
I guess it could have been, because he's not champion.
If Rhino had just beaten Abyss, what's to stop him from picking up the belt and going, I am the champion?
And then we just start doing a linear world champion in TNA.
And then we end up Slammiversary unifying the belt.
TNA once again puts over TNA's incredible streak of pay-per-views and calls Lockdown another home run. Do you agree?
Sure. It was yeah, fine.
Cool.
Like
a ringing endorsement.
Like a 7?
Which is, by 2005 standards, that is a home run, to be fair.
Yeah, that's fine.
Though we are also in 2006.
It's fine.
Rhino hits a belly-to-belly, begins the motion for the gore, but Bobby Roode emerges and Northern lariats Rhino while Mitchell has the referee distracted.
Why did you not highlight that one sentence?
It is highlighted. It's highlighted in the Bobby Roode and Rhino color.
Which is white?
Well, it's a very faint gray.
Some would argue too faint.
For those wondering, we have included color coding in the show notes because it's always an ordeal, especially when there's more episodes. It would have been okay for this one because there's only 3 impacts for this pay-per-view cycle, but it is usually an ordeal across like 6 episodes trying to find all the angles. So I've started color coding the angles, but there is one sentence in the middle of this which is color coded for Bobby Roode versus Rhino, which is a pay-per-view match, and the rest is for Abyss versus Christian. So Liam is confused by the fact that there is one sentence that is out of place.
But I understand now. How could I have ever been so blind?
Abyss hits the Black Hole Slam for the win. Christian rushes out and brawls with Abyss. Which, by the way, Abyss issued an open challenge that Christian did not answer. So,
well, he doesn't respect the actual belt.
I think he's a coward.
All right, you tell him that.
He was there. He could have answered it. His buddy Rhino did.
He had nothing to gain from it. He already has a match.
He could have regained his NWA title right there and then by defeating Abyss like a man instead of trying to jump him after he'd already wrestled.
Real Kaito Kiyomiya vibes.
Brawls with Abyss, hits a spear, but then Mitchell bails with the belt. Christian low bridges Abyss and Abyss scampers away. Christian calls Abyss Shrek and Don West is like, wow, nobody has ever called Abyss that.
I'm sure that's true.
It does lead to a tremendous sign at the pay-per-view, which is Abyss as Shrek and James Mitchell as Donkey. Donkey! Christian then challenges Abyss to a tables, ladders, chairs, and chains, legally distinct, match at Full Metal Mayhem at Sacrifice. So
Full Metal Mayhem, still very cool name.
it is funny that because it's Christian making the challenge. Christian, very famous with TLC. So they multiple times this month try to invoke TLC without obviously legally doing so.
They should have said stairs first, and then they could have gotten that sweet payday a few years later.
Do a stairs match?
Yeah, could have sued the WWF for their tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs.
We own the stairs, sir.
We did it for... Well, stairs are metal, so technically.
So yeah, main event of Sacrifice, Full Metal Mayhem, Christian versus Abyss.
Whoa.
We move to the May 4th Impact, in which the main event is Christian Cage versus Alex Shelley.
I liked this match.
I liked particularly the idea of this match, that they didn't just abandon the idea that, oh yeah, Christian also was home invaded by Alex Shelley. Not just Abyss. Shelley was there too filming it, so he wants some revenge there too.
So my favorite thing about this match is that it's just Christian kicking the shit out of Alex Shelley for 80% of it. Shelley gets like barely anything in this. He gets like an enziguri and a DDT, and then Christian beats him up a bunch, and then they do a sweet like sliced bread. Christian reverses it into a whip, and then like Shelley goes into the buckle and then comes back and rolls into the Unprettier. It looks really cool.
It was a very, very smooth finish. I did like also at the start of the match, Christian obviously raging because Shelley home invasion, but Shelley is like, come on, man, it was in the past. He's like trying to de-escalate
Shelley's like,
things.
it's just a job.
I was just doing my job, buddy. It wasn't personal.
He said to the Sting, I was like, just doing what I was told.
Christian then slaps him and then they brawl and match starts off.
A stiff slap.
And they also do a bit where Christian, when they're going to break, goes out to the announce table and sits Shelley on a chair. He grabs a headset from the announce desk and a camera from Val.
He does not understand how the camera works.
He's not a documentarian like Alex is.
He pointed around the wrong way.
He wants to film the crowd?
He was pointing it at his face, and then he switched it around to do like the documentary thing. Is this the only Cage Shelley match?
They do some tag stuff. There's a really good Guns against Christian and Rhino match in 2008 that has an even more awesome finish than this one. But I don't think there's another singles. Did they do one in Ring of Honor? Am I imagining that?
I don't think so.
He wrestled Daniels in Ring of Honor. What were his other Ring of Honor matches? He was filming his own movie, which he called Boot to the Skull. And then he said, I love story, and kicked Alex Shelley in the head and threw the break.
He almost had it if he just said, I love cinema.
God, I could have quoted that. Would have been a great clip.
He lost to Christopher Daniels.
Yeah.
On my birthday.
Happy birthday.
And he teamed with Colt Cabana to defeat Bryan Danielson and Christopher Daniels.
Did he only do two?
Yeah.
I guess TNA were probably pretty like, listen, we'll let you do one just so you seem cool, but no more than that.
Well, yeah, he did it. That tag went 28 minutes.
Despicable.
And then, but like the Daniels match went at 14. There's no rating for the match, so not that good.
I've seen the Daniels match, and it's not that good, but...
I meant the tag.
It's very long.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It's an environment in which the crowd isn't necessarily turned off by super long match.
Which is, I think, the modern critique.
Yeah. But, Cage and Shelley, a very fun, interesting match with some, like, DDP-ass finish.
Yep. So as you said, Christian beats Shelley with the Unprettier. Christian grabs the mic and says Abyss runs pretty fast for a monster, but he's 10 days away from getting the NWA World title back. And then they cut to the back where Mitchell and Abyss are backstage and challenges Christian to show up next week and try to take the NWA World title back.
I'm noticing a real inconsistency in the yellow that you used.
You see, that's the problem. It is wrong on the next one. Let me fix it. I'll fix it for you.
Well, on the first one, it's wrong then too, because it's lighter.
Listen, it's hard. It is actually surprisingly hard. I'm doing my best, man.
You just need to have like a key with like all the different colors for the things. Like you just assign all your colors in the broad topics bit, then go back and just copy paste it.
That is how I did it, but like you have to fill in the colors, and because when you look at the adding them in Google Docs, it is hard to tell just eyeballing it, the shade. The thing I should do is just use all the same ones along a single row.
Yeah.
So that I know which one's there.
Just do the whole pick one at the start and then just do all of those segments.
Like I would probably do row 4 and just do everything's across that row. That would probably make life easier for myself.
See, we're in the developmental stage. This is the beta.
The Go Home Impact, Abyss faced Chase Stevens.
You liked this.
It was a little plunder squash. It wasn't announced as a no DQ match or anything, but they let Abyss use weapons, which seems unfair because he's already wrestling Chase Stevens. You shouldn't be allowed to use weapons.
I didn't give a shit about it, but it's because, like, to me, the match was, like, nothing. It was just an angle to get to the post-match, which I think this feud really needed. I thought, like, after lockdown, the story wasn't as interesting, and this big brawl and Christian diving off the ladder was, like... After that happened, I was like, okay, I'm kind of, like, into this now.
Yeah, because it's a classic, like, we have 3 weeks until the next show coming out of lockdown. So we want to get another month out of Abyss and Christian, which, fair enough.
Probably, like, 3 weeks doesn't feel like enough to get another challenger credible.
Yeah, so it's just like, let's churn this out one more month with a stip next time. Well, it had a stip last time, too, because it was in a cage, but...
A bigger stip.
Bigger stip, indeed. A Christian-specific stip.
Some would argue that a cage match is more Full Metal Mayhem.
There is more metal.
Have they ever done Full Metal Mayhem at lockdown?
I don't believe so.
They should call it Fullest Metalist Mayhem.
The thing people always wanted was like a 6 Sides of Steel Ultimate X.
Why didn't they do that?
I guess logistically it would be a bit weird.
Well, I mean, you can just, like, attach the things to the top of the cage, I guess.
Yeah, well, I don't think they'd be able to bear it. You would still need to hang it from the ceiling in some capacity, I think.
We'll work it out.
Mitchell isn't accompanying Abyss because he's in a secure location backstage with the NWA World title. Mitchell cuts a promo on Full Metal Mayhem as Abyss pulls weapons from under the ring. Abyss is going to have a little preview here with Chase Stevens, which everyone just is like, fine. Cool. Stevens hits Abyss right in the head with a chair, so Abyss throws Chase into a chair, wedged in the buckle, chokes on through a table for the win. And as you said, Christian comes out, appears, hits Abyss with a ladder, and then dives off the ladder onto Abyss, and security wipes them all out. And that's our little go-home segment for the Christian and Abyss match.
I don't know, if I'm these whiny babies who are pissy about not getting booked, I'd be more upset at Chase Stevens getting the booking.
Yeah, he's just a guy, but he's just a guy to lose.
He's the one guy.
He's just it couldn't have been Elix Skipper.
Exactly.
Or David Young.
Exactly.
Could have been Hoyt. Hoyt probably would have made more sense.
Then you have to pin Hoyt, I guess.
That does take us to Sacrifice. JB has a bitch. God damn it.
What the hell?
It's not the first time I've slandered Abyss like that. JB has Abyss and Mitchell. Christian must go through a gauntlet of tables, ladders, chairs, and chains. Tonight, click Doomsday to make Christian's death wish come through with a black hole slam through one last table, Liam. The one awaiting him in the morgue.
Tables are in the morgue?
They're going to kill him.
Pro wrestling style tables?
They're going to kill him.
Awesome.
Which, you know what? Usually you'd be like, it's a bit dumb that they're going to say they're going to kill him. But Abyss did try to drown the man last month, so it's actually pretty consistent.
Yeah, and he's already the champion, so now he doesn't have to worry about winning the title off a dead man.
That's a good point. Long-term storytelling.
Garrett, I have big news for you.
What's the big news?
Bryan Danielson has defeated Jeff Jarrett.
Despicable. Classic AEW bias toward Ring of Honor rather than TNA history. No world in which that should happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Particularly not my world. The feature before this match is one that you liked.
Yeah, they did like a vignette, and I'm a sucker for like a vignette. And it's the easiest thing in the world, which is highlights of the feud with classical music that is escalating.
Yeah.
If you ever just want a simple way to make a match feel big, that's how you do it.
They do for, I think, nearly every match on the show. Maybe even some that don't deserve them. Probably not the X-Cup matches, but they do have pre-match video packages for the vast majority of the matches on their shows these days.
Good! Why did we move away from that?
Because, like, AEW is too insanely paced to do it. And WWE does do it, but...
AEW does them all on, like, digital media. And, like, the 0 hour. But like, I don't know. I think they're cool, and they get you like. I think the pre-match hype videos work, especially for like a company like AEW that has 55 matches that is burning out the crowd. Like, it gives the crowd a moment to catch their breath and get hyped up again.
The problem with AEWs though is they're often then the ones that make the show, if there are any, they are like 45 seconds as opposed to like a more substantial like 2 minutes. And like it's a thing that when they click, when you get obviously the My Way one is the most famous and will be cited until the end of time, but like when you get the right combination of song and story, like it helps immortalize a match. Like it helps a match stand in time when it has one of those video packages. Like, not that Bryan Danielson winning the world title at WrestleMania is a smaller moment without the Monster video package, but the Monster video package sure as hell helped.
Yeah, it's like an AEW example, the Hangman Kenny one, where it's like before they did the match at Full Gear, they had the whole like him coming in on the horse and then recapping the whole feud. Like, there's just moments like that where it works.
I said it helps immortalize things, and especially when you're a company to the level of AEW, which is bigger than TNA here, and with a little more money to work with for perhaps better songs to use to punctuate these video packages, or even just some kind of brand deal to plug the song.
And connections to maybe a giant company that has the ownership of most music.
No, Warner Brothers don't have any music.
Historically, no.
I actually think they have sold a lot of it.
Yeah, they still have the library, though.
They are a well-run company. JB has Christian right before the match, says, carrying around a belt doesn't make you a champion. Ask Jarrett, he did it for 4 years.
Oh, you.
He said, and they say I don't have jokes anymore. Very happy with himself about that one. He made Full Metal Mayhem famous. I think that was Abyss and Jeff Hardy, personally. But he's going to take back his title. And then our main event, Full Metal Mayhem. Christian Cage defeats Abyss to retain and regain the NWA World title.
They did themselves some plunder.
Yeah, I preferred the match last month. There is some good, cool moments, like Abyss belly to bellies Christian into a ladder in the corner. He throws him off the top through 2 tables, and he misses one of the tables, but grazes like the side of it with his back in a way that sucks way more.
So hurt.
It's one of those things, like, it's so much worse to have not gone through a table.
Yeah.
Because it would have been fine if he just hit one, but he hit right down the side of the one he didn't hit, and it did not look pleasant.
No, not at all.
The big bit was Mitchell got his thumbtack bump, so Christian got his revenge on Mitchell. He hit like a Uranagi into the thumbtacks. Mitchell, a pro, by the way, took the jacket off so he could take the thumbtack bump.
Yeah, and then plus like all of the tacks would stick in better.
Christian concertos Abyss while his head is on a table.
Mean of him. I like Concerto Lord, though. I'm a sucker for it.
The long-term concerto story.
Yeah.
There was a long while where neither Edge nor Christian did it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Then they brought it back.
It was always fun. It really did feel like a kill move.
Christian goes to climb, looks at the belt, looks at Abyss who's on a table, decides to frog splash Abyss through a table, then gets up and gets his belt, so he is still champion. I would say it's a little on the disappointing side, I would almost say.
Yeah.
Especially like for Abyss, who's great in Plunder, and Christian, who like this is his match. He said so. It's only good. It's like there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like a terrible match by any means.
No.
But it is merely good.
And in a company that has had like a lot of way better pay-per-view plunder.
Usually featuring Abyss.
Yeah.
Like if this was Sabu, it would be a different story.
Yeah.
And for good reason, because Christian doesn't throw himself through enough tables. He only misses them and hurts himself way more.
Yeah. The finish is like funny.
You have what? Because he didn't choose to.
Yeah, like just take the belt down and then frog splash him.
He needs his revenge. He is driven
He
by
can get
revenge.
both. Best of both worlds.
A Hannah Montana situation.
Yeah.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Sing the Hannah Montana song.
You got the limo out front. Ooh-oh. Hottest styles, every shoe, every color. I don't know the next line.
When you're famous, it can be kind of fun. It's really you, but no one ever discovers.
Do you know all the lyrics?
I used to. I watched a shit ton of Hannah Montana growing up.
So did I. It's the classic. It's always on multiple channels at all times. Kids don't know the joy of that in streaming. You can't just Google the lyrics.
No, I'm trying to. I just need the next bit.
Yeah, it's like da 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 like you, the
Yeah, 'cause
doubles
then
as a
yeah, 'cause-
superstar, but I don't know what the da 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 is.
In some ways, you're just like all your friends, but on stage, you're a star. You get the best of both worlds.
No.
Chill it out, take it slow,
You can give
then
the
you
you got
rock
the
out
best
the
of
show.
both worlds
You
more
get the
punch there.
best of both worlds.
You can commit to that one.
Mix it all together, and you know that it's the best of both worlds.
She does that laugh at the end.
I think it actually just goes, yeah. I think it's a ha 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 ha. Apparently in verse 2 it goes, you go to the movie premieres, and then it goes, was that Orlando Bloom?
No, it wasn't.
And there you go. Impromptu Hannah Montana sing-along.